Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anika Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my contemplative time has been all about teaching. And as I was thinking of this, I'm sure it was because I'm in the process of creating that new course for you. I know that I was drawn to the term Docere, which is a principle that's taught to us in naturopathic medicine. And it was always my favorite principle of naturopathic medicine. It's a Latin term, and it means the doctor is teacher. So it's teaching. And when I was contemplating this and my true passion for this, I love teaching. I love learning, and I love teaching, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's clients, whether it's people I meet on the street. It doesn't matter. I love the energy, the feeling of teaching to help someone with something that I know that might help them. And so I looked up, of course, as I do, the term docere, and I discovered that Cicero was the person who actually came up with this term. And I don't know if any of you know Cicero, but Cicero was a Roman statesman, a lawyer, scholar, and writer. And if you know anything about Roman history, you might know this term. And if you don't, you might come across it. In any case, if you're interested, that's where Cicero came from. And what was fascinating to me is I had no idea that he was the one who came up with the term docere. And so this is a Latin term, and he first introduced this term in his book, which was called De Oratore, which was also in Latin, although I believe there's an English version of it, but I'm not sure if it's complete. In any case, this was written in 55 BC, and he suggested that there were three duties of teaching, or goals of teaching, but he described this teaching, docere, as to teach, to delight, and to move. Oh, I love that. To teach, to delight, and to move. Imagine that. That to me is such a beautiful way of describing teaching, or ideal teaching. To teach, to delight, and to move. And this is the thing, is what you learn today, if it's learned in a good way and it's something new, it will move you to a different space of awareness. And as you know, I would love this for all of us. So I came across a quotation I wanted to share with you, of course, as I thought about teaching and learning. And this quotation is by Brad Henry. It says, "A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning." A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. And what is more beautiful than that in teaching? So you might have a favorite teacher that you remember, and what was it that you remember? Likely it ignited some hope and some imagination and a love of learning, right? So there was something that you loved about what they were teaching, or how they were teaching, or perhaps how they were marking. But there's something that stuck with you about a teacher because likely these sorts of details. And then I thought about who teaches. It's not only teachers, right? We're all teachers. We are, so not teachers as professionals, but I mean, everyone is a teacher. You might teach your child how to walk. You might teach, let's say, a midlife person how to use something new in technology in terms of a cell phone or a computer. You might be teaching that. And if you have an aging parent, for example, or if you work with seniors, you might notice that you need to teach things that might have been learned and forgotten, like putting on clothes again, or even telling the time, right? These are things that can change with our cognitive changes that can happen over time. And so there's a teaching that happens. You could teach someone how to be kind, right? You see people who do random acts of kindness, and this is teaching through example, right? So this is so beautiful, and this is how we often teach even kids. We teach by example. Even adults, we will teach by example. This is how you do it, right? We show, and then the teaching is there, and then the learning hopefully is there. And I love this process, and I know that we all do it, sometimes consciously, sometimes not. Sometimes you might be teaching a coworker who has just started in your company how to do a skill that you're used to. You might be teaching your accountant about where you've spent your money, right? So there's teaching all over the place. But there is a difference from teaching from love and teaching just to get the job done, right? So today I would love to bring your attention to the person that came to mind for me when I thought about doctors and teaching from love was Patch Adams. And I don't know if you've watched that movie. There's a movie called Patch Adams, and if you haven't seen it, I'd love for you to see it. I haven't seen it for years, but I know that it was very, very touching to me and very, very meaningful. And if you see it, you'll see why it resonates so much with me. There is so much love and compassion in that movie. And it's got Robin Williams in it. I remember that. And I remember that he was fantastic in playing this role of this doctor. Patch Adams had a quotation that really resonated with me for today's video too. So I thought I'd share that with you. It says, "I am a doctor, but above all else, I consider myself an activist for peace, justice, and care for all people." I am a doctor, but above all else, I consider myself an activist for peace, justice, and care for all people. Now, to me, that is teaching. That is teaching by example. That to me is what I would aspire to, or what I do aspire to. I can tell you that even when I came across this description of Docere, that was literally to teach, to delight, and to move, I think of Patch Adams in this. And I think there are many doctors, there are many healthcare practitioners, there are many people who teach like this. You might teach like this, and I hope you do, because quite honestly, this is a beautiful energy to work from. I wanted to share with you, again, I have no affiliation with this, but I thought I'd share that Patch Adams, who is actually a real character, that I think his real name is Hunter and his nickname Patch Adams. And he has a desire to create models for hospitals everywhere. For now, he's got a piece of land in West Virginia, and it's a site for a future hospital. And on it, he runs what's called the Gesundheit Institute. Bless you, right? So it's a very cute name, but and he is focusing on making the world more playful and loving. How beautiful is that? More playful and loving. And quite honestly, this energy can be a beautiful energy to add to any life experience. But if you are teaching today, I would love for you to think about one person that you do or can teach and spend 5 minutes to teach them something from a playful and loving space. You know that when we teach children, often we do this because they're in that energy, right? So we match their energy. And for a young adult, we might have to coerce them into a little bit more playful and loving, right? So teenagers might not want to think about playful and loving with mom and dad or with, the older friend, but they will be that way with each other, right? And they'll teach each other in that energy. Then, of course, we move into midlife when you might be teaching someone who thinks, oh, I should know how to get this, or I can't understand this. And because they're used to understanding what's going on, and suddenly something new comes along, like technology or anything, could be a new job, it could be a new relationship. There's different things that happen, let's say in midlife, that requires teaching, but why not from a playful and loving energy? And then older people, of course, when we're working with an older person who might not have the same cognitive skills, we might become very serious, or we might stop the playfulness energy. Why not? Why would we stop that? I know that I have had so much fun when I've worked with seniors. And if you are working with seniors, or if you even have an older person in your care, work from a space of playful and loving energy. It is received energetically, and I wish that for all of us, both in our teaching and our learning experiences. So I hope for 5 minutes after today's video, you will sit down and think of one person that you can teach from this space, playful and loving energy. I hope you have a fantastic day ahead, and remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.